I'm sharing 12 hopeful reads for the coming month, and I'm doing things a little bit differently this time, so stay tuned and see what's made it on to my August pile of possibilities. Hello book friends, I'm Jen and welcome back to my reading life and welcome to another monthly pile of possibilities video. For today, we are going to go through all the books that I am considering reading in the month of August. If you're new here, I like to use the phrase pile of possibilities because to me, TBR or to be read feels too much like a to-do list, like these are books I have to read in the coming month. Whereas pile of possibilities, well, it says it in the name. It is just books that I might possibly read this month and I might possibly not. And that allows me the freedom to mood read, to hear about a new to me book that I might want to pick up, or to stumble upon a book in the library and want to start it right away. Pile of possibilities allows me the flexibility that I am looking for in my monthly reading stack. And normally what I do is I make a stack of both books that I will definitely be reading, whether they are for book club, buddy reads, group reads, and then I usually just pull some books from my shelves or maybe books I have checked out from the library as possible reads for the coming month. But one thing that I'm doing differently this month is that I have actually decided to carry over some books from my July pile of possibilities because I still really want to read these. I'm really in the mood for them. They're definitely summery, seasonal reads, and so I don't want to just put them back on the shelf. I want to keep them actively in my mind and in that pile of possibilities. So I have actually 4 books from my July pile of possibilities. I have 4 books that I will for sure be reading for book club, buddy reads, etc. And then I have 4 additional books that I have, of course, just pulled from my shelves that sounded good and sound like things I might want to read in August. We will get into the books in just a moment, but I do want to pause here to say please stay tuned to the end of this video because I'm making an announcement about a change to my video upload schedule for August. So be sure not to miss that so you know what's going on. But without further ado, let us get into the books. I'm going to start with the books that are rolling over from my July pile of possibilities into August's, and I'm not going to go into really any depth talking about these since I already did that in July's pile of possibilities video. So if you want to hear more about these books, please head over to that video. I will link it here for you and in the description box below. But the first book that is remaining on my pile is Thalia by Frances Faviel. This book follows a young woman acting as a companion to another woman and her daughter, and they are traveling to France for the summertime, and we're going to follow along with what happens to all of them. So keeping this one on the pile because I really want to read this. Next up I have Mrs. Polifax and the Lion Killer by Dorothy Gilman, the next book in the Mrs. Polifax mystery series that I need to read, and I didn't quite get to this one in July, so it is heading into August. I'm definitely going to read this in August because I need more Mrs. Polifax in my life. It's been too long. Next up is The Hazelbourne Ladies Motorcycle and Flying Club by Helen Simonson. And again, this is just another one that I really want to read. I keep thinking about it and I really hope that I get to it in August. If I don't, I may just push it off to my September pile of possibilities because I'd really like to get to this one in the next couple of months. And then finally, the last book rolling over from July is The Hunter by Tana French. This is the second book in the Cal Hooper mystery series, and I really want to get to this one. It is set in a heat wave in Ireland, and I think summertime just is a good time to read about a heat wave. So it's been so long since I read The Searcher, and I've been meaning to read this book for the past couple of summers, and I really want to get to it before the end of this summer. Next up are the books that I am for sure going to read in August, and the first book is our selection for the Cozy Reader Book Club, and we'll be reading The Fortnight in September by R.C. Sheriff. This is actually a reread for me, and I am so looking forward to it. It is perfect whether you read it in August or September or really any time. It follows a family going on a seaside holiday in England, and it's just all about their fortnight on holiday and what happens to them. And it's just very sort of domestic, and you just kind of follow their day-to-day lives. And two of the children in the family are almost adults, so this is probably really the last time the entire family will go on holiday together. So there's a bit of poignancy to it because of that, but this is such a lovely read. And if you'd like to join us for the Cozy Reader Book Club in August, you can find the information to join our Substack, which is how you get the information to join the discussion. That is always in the description box of all my videos, so we would love to have you join us if you'd like to read and discuss the fortnight in September. And then next up, my lovely book friends in my Gilded Age Buddy Read group, we are going to be reading a book together this month, and we decided to read Tender is the Night by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I'm very, very excited to get to this one because after having reread The Great Gatsby and enjoying it so much more than I did when I was in high school, I am very, very interested in reading more of Fitzgerald's writing, and this one sounds just fantastic, and I love this cover. It looks so summery. In this, we are following a young actress, Rosemary Hoyt, and her complicated relationship with the alluring American couple Dick and Nicole Diver. A brilliant psychiatrist at the time of his marriage, Dick is both husband and doctor to Nicole, whose wealth pushed him into a glamorous lifestyle and whose growing strength highlights Dick's decline. Lyrical, expansive, and hauntingly evocative, Tender is the Night was one of the most talked about books of the year when it was originally published in 1934, and even more beloved by readers today. That sounds so good, and I cannot wait to read and discuss it with my Buddy Read group. Next up is a book I am buddy reading with one of my Book Jennies members, Nikki, and that is A Shower of Summer Days by May Sarton. I had done a video for my Book Jennies where I shared with them a bunch of books that were on my summer hopefuls list, and I let them all pick 3 books that they wanted me to read and vlog about for all of them. And then I picked a winner from everyone who entered, and then they also had the opportunity to buddy read one of their 3 books with me in August. And so Nikki and I are going to buddy read A Shower of Summer Days by May Sarton. And I think this follows a couple. They are returning home to England after a long absence. And it sounds like the wife has a sister she's slightly estranged from, but the sister sends her daughter to them to stay and recover from a broken heart, I believe. And over the course of the summer, we're just going to follow, I think, what happens and what goes on between all of them. So I'm very, very curious. I love May Sarton's writing. I haven't read nearly enough of hers, and I'm glad Nikki has given me a push to read more of her, and I can't wait to read this and chat with her. And then I also do need to read the 3rd book that Nikki selected for me to read from that summer possibilities pile, and that is The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. And in this, we are following the remarkable story of Esperanza Cordero, told in a series of vignettes, sometimes heartbreaking, sometimes deeply joyous. It is the story of a young Latina girl growing up in Chicago, inventing for herself who and what she will become. So a coming of age novel, and I've heard wonderful things about this, and I cannot wait to get to this one also. So very excited. I think I have some good books so far picked out for August. And then we are down to the final 4 books. These are some semi-random selections that I pulled off my shelf that I'm thinking about reading in August. They're kind of just calling to me right now. And first up, we have The Priory by Dorothy Whipple. I read another Dorothy Whipple book, High Wages, in July. You'll be hearing about that in my July wrap-up very soon, but spoiler alert, I loved it. And I want to read everything I can get my hands on by Dorothy Whipple, and I purchased 3 more of her books, and I had put a poll up on my Instagram asking people to pick which of the 3 books I should start with, and The Priory was the winner. And from what I've read of the book, we're following a family, a father and 2 daughters, and they live in the Priory. It sounds like it's maybe kind of a little bit run-down home in England, and everything's going along. We meet all the characters, and then the father announces he's getting remarried to a much younger woman, and this kind of upsets their lives. And so we're going to follow along from there. I think that sounds fabulous. I am just a huge fan of Dorothy Whipple's writing. I think she's so engaging and she just pulls me into her stories, and I do not want to put them down. So very excited for this one. Next up is a book I actually just recently purchased. My family and I went on a few days getaway to the California coast, and I went to one of my very favorite independent bookstores called The Bookworks in Pacific Grove. And this was the book I picked up there, 6 Days in Bombay by Alka Joshi. I loved The Henna Artist by Alka Joshi when it first came out. If you haven't read that one, I definitely recommend it. This one says, when renowned painter Myra Novak arrives at Wadia Hospital in Bombay after a miscarriage, her nurse Sona is excited to learn more about the vivacious artist who shares her half-Indian identity. Sona, yearning for a larger life, finds herself carried away by Mira's stories of her travels and is shocked by accounts of the many lovers the painter has left scattered throughout Europe. When Mira dies, suddenly, Sona falls under suspicion. The key to proving Sona's innocence may lie in a cryptic note and 4 paintings Mira left, sending the young woman on a mission to visit the painter's former friends and lovers across a tumultuous Europe teetering toward war. Sona learns that the painter's charming facade hid a far more complicated, troubled soul. So it sounds like it's set in 1937, and it takes us from Bombay to Prague, Florence, Paris, and London. I think it sounds lovely. I want to do a little armchair traveling in August, and those sound like fantastic places to visit. So I have high hopes for this one. Next up is a book that I've talked about in a few recent videos, and it's one I want to reread because I first read it, I think around the time it came out. And I mean, it's perfect for summertime, and that is Summer Sisters by Judy Blume. And in this, we're following 2 friends. It starts in the summer of 1977. Victoria Leonard's world changes forever when Caitlin Summers chooses her as a friend. And they spend time on Martha's Vineyard, and they become quote-unquote summer sisters. And now it's years later. Vix is working in New York City, and Caitlin is getting married in the vineyard. And the early magic of their long, complicated friendship has faded. But Caitlin begs Vix to come to her wedding to be her maid of honor, and Vix knows that she will go because she wants to understand what happened during that last shattering summer. So we're going to follow along with this story of friendship. All I remember about this was that I very much enjoyed it. So curious to see what I think of it on a reread. And finally is a book that I am very excited about. I received an ARC of this book from the publisher, and it's by an author that I absolutely love, and that is Our Noble Selves by Kate Atkinson. Huge thank you to Penguin Random House for the advanced copy of this. This book is coming out on September 15th. It sounds really wonderful. It says, when crime correspondent turned war reporter Harry Flynn returns to Britain from Singapore in 1945, he takes a quiet office job with the Festival of Britain, a government-funded endeavor aimed at celebrating the nation's creativity, grit, and ingenuity. He joins a team of misfits and eccentrics, as well as some who have their own secret agenda as they help to ready the festival for launch. When a French woman goes missing, Flynn becomes the central suspect in her disappearance and possible murder. He was the last person to see her alive, yet he has no memory of the evening they spent together. As evidence against him mounts, Flynn begins to wonder if he might actually be to blame. To make matters worse, he is surrounded by apparently untrustworthy people who feed his doubts. It says, witty, brilliantly plotted, and with an unforgettable cast of characters, Our Noble Selves paints a vivid portrait of a nation struggling with its future in the aftermath of war. I really cannot wait to get to this one, and I would love to read it before its publication date so that I can share with you all about it and allow you to decide if you want to purchase it or not when it is published, or pre-order it, as the case may be. But I think this sounds fabulous. I love Kate Atkinson's writing, and again, thank you Penguin Random House for the advance copy. And before I wrap up this video, I mentioned at the beginning that I have an announcement about my August video uploading schedule. I am taking a little bit of a step back in August. I just need a chance to take care of some things behind the scenes, deal with a few things in my personal life, and just have a little bit of downtime as we head back into the school year here in California. And so I'm only going to be uploading one video per week during the month of August. So I will only be putting out videos on Tuesdays in August. Nothing else about my schedule is changing. If you're a Patreon member, nothing in Patreon is changing. I am just not going to be having any videos coming out on Fridays. I will still be putting out my Friday newsletter, however, and if you're not on my newsletter list, you can join that by joining my Patreon, whether as a free or paid member. Everybody receives my newsletter every week, and you can find out what is going on behind the scenes, what I'm currently reading. I have a monthly calendar in there and other odds and ends that I like to share with those of you who are newsletter subscribers. I will be returning in September back to my regular Tuesday and Friday video upload schedule. It is just for August that I will only have videos on Tuesdays, and I am working on a lot of fun stuff behind the scenes, so stay tuned for that for the last part of 2026. I am excited about some of the things I have coming your way, and that is going to wrap it up for today's Pile of Possibilities video. I would love to chat with you down in the comments. Have you read any of the books that are on my pile of possibilities? Is there anything that you loved and highly recommend? And what's on your own pile of possibilities for August? Do you have any certain books that you're really excited about? Let's talk all things August reading down in the comments below. And if you're here but you don't have anything you'd like to add in the comments, but you would like to let me know you're here because comments really help my channel, let's leave some raindrops, umbrellas, something, because I'm reading A Shower of Summer Days. Let's cool things down a little bit. I know it's very hot where most of us are right now, so let us put some cool, refreshing rain in the comments. I love seeing those and knowing that you were here. And if you enjoyed this video, if you could hit that like button and also the hype button on the YouTube mobile app. And if you're new here, I would love it if you haven't already done so, if you would hit that subscribe button and join my cozy corner of booktube. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for all your comments on my most recent videos. I so appreciate it and love chatting with you there. As always, I'll be back with another video very soon. And until then, I wish you a good book and a warm cuppa. Bye.